Hi, in this video I will be demonstrating how to calibrate the Surface Weld probe. We'll start by I'll start with the template so that we are starting from scratch. I'll go ahead and load the default setup just in case there's some weird setup in there. All right, now one more thing. The default technique has the encoder sampling turned off, so I'm going to turn that on. So we are sampling with the encoder. Okay, so now I'm going to start acquire. Okay, perform instrument null. Go ahead and scan this weld. Okay. All right, so now you can see the signal is pretty messy. So here, this is my transverse channel. And these are my plus point axial, plus point transverse. And then here's my axial channel and transverse channel. Okay, so first thing I do is I adjust the scale because everything is blown up really high. So I'm going to adjust scale, and yeah, you can see that, it's a big mess here. So I'm going to scale down so that I can see what I'm working with. Okay, and then so now I can kind of see the signals. So here, this is my groove signal. So I'm going to make sure that I rotate that so that that signal is up in the vertical direction. So once I scale it down to something reasonable, then I will adjust rotation. Okay. And then just start adjusting rotation and see if you can see any of the flaws pop out. So, okay, again, this is my transverse channel. So I know I have 3 transverse notches here, and you can see those notches down there. So what I do is then I will put my cursor on the notch so that I know. First, I can verify that is this notch signal, and I know which direction that's going in. Okay, so so I can go ahead and fine-tune my my phase to adjust that. This is the liftoff or the noise signal horizontal. Okay. All right, and then after that, I can. What I would do is I can apply a filter. Okay, so adjust filter, and I will turn on the signal to noise filter here. Okay, my SNR filter, turn that on. Again, and you can see that cleaned up the signal a bit. And then I will adjust my scale a little more, so until all the signals that's not important are gone. Now if I go too far, I don't want to go too far because then my signals of interest get too small. So you kind of have to just adjust it and play with it to see what the best level is. And then even after that, you can kind of play with your phase as well. But see, these signals here, that's because that's where the weld starts. And then there's this big kind of divot looking thing here. That's this signal, and that's really kind of unavoidable sometimes. So, but that's what you get with really bad welds, but you can definitely see that the 3 transverse flaws are visible there. Okay, and then this one, I mean, that's the end of the weld, so that's what you get there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. It's pretty good right there. And then I can go to my axial channel, and I'll do the same thing. I will adjust scale. Get that down to a manageable size. Okay, and then I will adjust rotation until I start to see those flaw signals pop out. So you can see here, those are these 3 signals there. That's what I'm looking for. So then I'll go ahead and put my cursor on that signal. Again, I verify that those are what I'm looking for. Okay, and then I can adjust my angle a little more to decrease the signals from the non-relevant signals. Okay, and then I can adjust the scale a little further. Maybe something like that. Also, here I can apply a filter and turn on my SNR filter, and that will clean it up pretty good. Okay, that looks really good right there. So that's my axial notch on the crown, and that's my axial notch in the toe, and then that is my axial notch in the heat affected zone. And then you can also see that's my 45-degree notch there. Okay. All right. Now I'll go to my my plus point channels. So this is my axial plus point channel. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go and locate my groove signal on the array channel. And then when I go to my plus point channel, then I can see where my groove signal should be. And then here again, I'm going to adjust scale and scale down on this so I can see what I'm looking at. Okay, that looks pretty good. Maybe come up a little bit. Okay, this is my groove signal, which is a transverse groove, but this is my axial channel. So what I want to do is I want to go to my, I'm going to go to my transverse channel, and then I'm going to rotate this signal horizontal, like so, because that's my transverse groove there. Again, you can see if I rotate, as I rotate this, you can see some of the other signals here kind of come up, and those are like unwanted signals, so I can rotate it until those kind of disappear. Okay, so something like that. That should be pretty good. Okay, so one thing I want to explain about the plus point channels. So as you can see, when I rotate my plus point channels, both of them rotate together. I'm not able to independently rotate these channels. So in the case that these signals are way different from each other, I can calibrate it so that they are, they kind of match. And I can do that by performing auto rotate liftoff or auto rotate. And that basically rotated, horizontally. So I'm going to rotate this back, up, over. like that. And then you can see that the angles are pretty close. And then I can do the same for scale. I can do auto scale, and then that'll scale these signals the same. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to adjust the scale a little more to get rid of those unwanted signals. Okay, and then so now it looks pretty clean. So that's my axial channel with my three axial flaws and the 45-degree flaw. And then this is my transverse channel. So you can see my transverse groove, and also you can see it on the plus point channel. And then these other signals that are unwanted, sometimes it's hard to get rid of, but you can play with the filtering and the signal rotation to try and minimize those type of indications. Okay. And that's how you calibrate the Surfix Weld probe.